We are into game number 1 of our round of 64 for the Garrison. We have Ozone playing as the Dravidians on the left side in the blue, and Lucho playing in the red on the right side. Colors should match up with what I have set up for the scoreboard, so we'll keep it like that. And with a 9-villager start, players are sending plenty of villagers already to lumber camp. You can see Lucho already just building the lumber camp with 2 villagers, while the other 2 start chopping wood immediately. Both players wanting to get the, not blacksmith or barracks, the dock out as soon as possible. Players start with fewer sheep, and it looks like some sheep were being sent over to scout for Ozone as he pushes in the 4 starting deer. And he's trying to be as efficient as possible, keeping that deer alive until the villagers finish with the water buffalo under the town center. There was a recent video put out by Red Phosphru trying to explain the double deer push, where you can be a little bit more efficient with your deer pushes by getting 2 deer towards the town center at once by lining up the deer. I don't think that'll be the case, or something that's done on this map. One sec, let me get rid of the spot. They've found a way to get around Nightbot. What's up, Hope? Hope, are you a mod? I don't have oops, I don't want that. Don't have mod settings in OBS. Whatever, I'll leave the bot for now. Just ignore it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the double deer push is something that Red Phosphru was showing on YouTube recently. And I don't think it'll be something that's used here on migration, since the scout doesn't really have anything else to do. It's limited to this island at the start. But with a 9-villager start and starting with less food, it can be a little bit difficult to get this build order as cleanly as possible. And migration doesn't have that much food to start off with anyways. You're limited even in a standard 3-villager start with how much food is available on the map. You can actually run out of food on land and be stuck in feudal age. But both players, I'm sure, have practiced their build order. Lucho has been playing this map a lot when he was playing in TTL for silver, and he was successful there. Already off to 2 fishing ships, and Ozone on 3. Solid. I was a mod at BackT, but he stopped playing streaming 3 years ago. Yeah, BackT was a wonderful member of the community. But I understand sometimes you have to move on with life. It's always a cycle. Second dock coming up for Ozone. Looks like it's going to be the traditional Dravidian Dark Age fish boom into Castle Age pressure. Byzantines will have the advantage with their fires, which I imagine is the ships that both players will go to for control of the middle. Golden stones are very nicely spread out throughout the map. And I didn't realize there's actually buffalo in the middle, which will be useful for the players to scout around the map, as I'm sure their scout will be engaged in the relic wars in the mid-game. Ozone continuously building houses in the back. I tested out the map a little bit earlier just to get an idea of how it felt like in the 9-villager start. And there's a lot going on immediately. You have no time to rest. You're already trying to figure things out. And look, the players are so similar with the build order, both having villagers going out to gold. Same time, both have the double lumber camp, both more or less building their houses at the back of the map. Migration feels like one of those maps that's figured out. There is a slight difference with Armenians being added since it was last played in TTL. Which I think is the last tournament that really showcased it at a high level. But the Armenians don't change the map played that much. So yeah, I want to say the meta's pretty much figured out. I don't think it's stale, so to speak, because there is a variety of approaches on the map. You can go for some feudal pressure, or you can go like both these players are going for some Castle Age pressure. Players have to remember to build their mill as well. Ooh, we have no mill here for Ozone. Unless I'm missing something. There is no mill. He has forgotten the mill. Unless he's going for... Is this a feudal approach that's just kind of late? Without a mill, you can't build a market. Barracks in the middle. Okay, is he not going to go for a market? Will it just be a blacksmith and a stable? Obviously can't build a blacksmith until he's up. Lucho, meanwhile, does have the mill. And I imagine we'll build blacksmith and market in the back. Already sending a villager back here. There's the blacksmith. There's the market. Stable and blacksmith. Okay. Interesting. Changing things up. Not going for the market. Deciding, you know what? I'm going to have control of the middle. I will have whatever resources I need here. And Ozone also skipping loom, it looks like. Yep, skipping loom. This Dravidian boom is just so solid that he can afford those fishing ships a little bit faster since he saves the wood on houses. Only has 7 houses versus 9 of Lucho. Those docks counting as houses. And I like this barracks, or I keep saying barracks, the dock on the side here. Meanwhile, Lucho looks like he's just going to be going for a water approach here with 3 docks. And yeah, the dock on the side really helps if you can control this area. You have so much more fish here as the fish around your starting island runs out. And looks like the transport's going to go forward to scout out what is going on as well. I like Ozone's start a little bit more here. Controlling the middle island is so important. So important. Here we have transport as well for Lucho. And there's the blacksmith. Ozone finding all of the water buffalo, which he'll be able to use to scout out the rest of the map. Hence why his score is significantly higher than Lucho's at the moment. Scout finds the villagers, but villagers have loom. Scout will have to run away. But these Arabia players, absolute hamsters, will continue to be a nuisance. Thinking about fighting again. Has another scout on the way. Can take that fight. Barracks is up. Immediately preparing to spit out a spear. Villager goes on the wrong side of the palisade. Looks like he's just going to abandon that villager. Other villager gets the quick wall off. Which it was safe for now. Obviously still has the transport. 4 fires to 4 fires. Ozone now getting loom. Build orders seemed a little bit closer, or a little bit smoother for him. Lucho does have more resources, though. 10 fishing ships versus 11. I'm not sure where those extra res... I guess just transporting over later. And already hiding behind docks. Repairing fires. These guys are quick players. Very comfortable with this kind of map, where you have a lot going on in a lot of different places. Already starting up that house stack in the back of the map. We're going to have a tenement back here. Some projects. Not the prettiest place for these villagers to live, but it'll do for now. And one villager going to build a town center. I imagine that villager is going to be walled in. Ooh, risky.
Fine.
Very risky. He's just... Okay, he's sending more villagers over. Yeah, he sees the scouts. Focus was there. I like this big scout stack. The players are almost treating this like it's Arabia with extra steps. But yeah, all these Byzantine spears. Spear even gets pulled back to its ally. Not a great fight here for Ozone. Obviously paying attention to the water fight over here as Lucho pulls this fire around. And so far it's just been, yeah, much better for Lucho in this early castle age. A lot of fish being pressured on all sides for Ozone. He's pulled his fish all the way back here to this back corner. And actually opting for the Siege Workshop in the middle before his own town center. Going for the more aggressive play. KD in favor of Lucho as well. Both players just pulling back a little bit. Allowing these fires so deep into this area of the map is kind of surprising. You do expect Byzantines to have to be favored on water. And it looks like it's just going to be full spears here to help protect the siege. Neither player having forging yet to try to boost up these spears.
Steady.
Dravidians could get pikemen for a bit cheaper to Byzantines. The Byzantines get the bonus for keeping that alive. What is... Ozone's a little bit... Okay, never mind. I miscounted how many fires there was there. It's was going to say, Ozone's strategy seemed a little bit odd. It looks like a fire just going in here to snipe some fish. Players tend not to rebuild the fish, I find. They tend to just let the fish die. Yeah, better fights here for Lucho. If he takes full water control, which it looks like he might do, definitely favor his position. With Siege Workshop in behind for Lucho to help defend against the mangonels that are coming out now. I think these spears need to be left on defensive instead of stand ground. And now we have some demos coming out. Yeah, we have demo... captures? There we go. Demo all the way back there. Okay. And another dock on the side here. The dock should be defending this fire. Indeed it is. Yeah, this dock on the side here that just acts as like a wall is allowing Ozone to stay somewhat level. Though that 20 to 10 KD isn't too pretty. 2 mangonels coming out onto this hill here, protected by the light cav and the spearman now getting forging. Lucho can't afford a mangonel, but trying to fight uphill is always difficult. You're going to have to be on point at all times. Look at these weak fires that Ozone's just able to hide behind the dock. He's trying. And the demo coming in, only connecting with one fire, it looks like. Demo, you're... Oh, I don't... Okay, it did some damage. But there's far more Navy here. And yeah, Ozone's aggressive approach seems like it's working out as long as he can keep these mangonels alive. It feels like it's just relying completely on these mangonels and that he's focusing on the mangonels. He sees the weak one. He pulls back. Oh man, that hill bonus helps so much. Villager just sitting here by the house. Hasn't been brought forward to repair. Constant mangonel production. More fires coming forward. Big demos possible. Lucho spreads out. Demo gets saved. This is some good demo micro. You wait until the demo's needed. Okay. Cast of the commentator. It's hard to focus on everything unless you keep your mangoes on stand ground. Looks like scouts went in, but yeah, okay, we're down to 4 mangonels. Or we still have 4 mangonels, I should say. And these villagers are not working at all here. Worker efficiency last minute, definitely in Ozone's favor. But this blue navy has been cleared up. Fisher ship's still active, 10 to 10. And these fires coming in on the other side are going to be very tricky for Ozone to deal with. It's kind of stop building navy. Okay, there he goes. Recues some fire ships. That is the advantage that Byzantines have here. That and getting up to imp a little bit easier. Scouts haven't been able to do too much yet. And Lucho really being able to defend with very little mangonel pressure. What are these? The mangonels are just all coming back for repairs. They're all low. Okay, we have 1 mangonel that could stay in the area. Ozone going for a second town center back on his starting island. A little bit questionable, but I guess he's limited on the number of villagers he has in the middle, and he doesn't have a secure pathway to get back to the middle because of all these fires that are patrolling here. Look at this spear mass. Lucho coming out to try to re-secure this hill, but the little bit of a potential for an attack by these scouts has made him think, you know what, the TC sounds like a pretty good spot to hang out. A little bit of friendly fire there. Oh, these spears are getting very, very close. That's such a mangonel stack. Yeah, I think this second TC here by Lucho makes a lot of sense. Ozone still being cautious, though. He doesn't want to lose this because this is his main advantage here. He's going to start losing his fish fairly soon. This is where all of his fish are. These fires aren't being super active. They're just controlling that passage. Somewhat a map control. This mangonel still survives. Scouts are going to think about diving in. Does pull the spears out of position. Mangonel now just going under the town center. Killing some repair vills. No vills in the town center. Ooh, yeah, the mangonel micro here for Ozone hasn't been where it needs to be. And what does he see? He doesn't see the next town center yet. He's probably going to be looking for some vills to snipe, some spears to snipe, but obviously focusing here. Transport ship, I don't know why it got sent over there, but it looks like there's really very limited navy here. And spears are being pulled out of position. This is a very interesting game, but this is the thing. The Byzantine castle comes up. Scouts are getting limited in their positioning. Okay, we do have a Mangonel here as well. It's not just a Scorpion. Will be sent out. Does get sent out on the backside. And I think Ozone is safe. Oh, there go all the spears. There go all the spears. That Mangonel stack looks like something you'd only expect to see in the late game. And Ozone's still not queuing up any more. Okay, is starting to queue up. No, not queuing anything except monks. And deciding, you know what, I have middle control with one villager, and she'll do. Still prefer Lucho's position. Full water control, taking out docks now. Those farms, I mean, that's where Auto Farm's going to put that farm, but I don't know how effective that farm's going to be. Ozone going to stone now, which feels a little bit late. Monks could be helpful in converting some of these ships. Converting the transport would actually be kind of funny. And obviously helpful for converting any cataphracts if Lucho chooses to make them. But that would also be doubtful, given the composition here. I guess cataphracts could try to snipe Mangonels. Yeah, Ozone definitely behind in the Vil count. 57 to 62. And the cheap Byzantine Imp. It feels like whoever gets to Imp first really wins these kind of matchups. I don't know what Ozone does in this position. He has enough to produce out of 2 town centers. Occasionally a third. Could try to come back on water, but he has, what, 1 dock remaining? I think he's just counting for a castle and a faster uptime. He obviously needs to find a way to transport villagers to the middle. He's coming for a different angle on this town center. Is this... No, okay. Lucho knows about making sure to go up with the correct town center. And the Mangonel fights haven't been there. Light Cav going in now. Feels like this is their moment to shine. Does get 1 more snipe. Mangonel's a little bit out of position. For the moment, I think Ozone just has to go for it. Score feels close, but that's because Lucho has used a lot of his resources to go up to Imperial Age. Town center in the middle, now just going up for Ozone, having been built by a single villager. And these monks just collecting a few relics will be helpful. But yeah, I don't know. Once that in comes in, we might see a GG here. Interesting that Lucho abandoned this wood line. Just decided, you know what? Everyone to a new wood line. Maybe those were villagers that got transported over earlier. And yeah, Lucho sees that he has the score lead, and he's about to be up to Imp. That's a good feeling. Because what would Dravidians realistically do in this situation? Try to just wait until the late game and hope for better units? But even then, it feels like Byzantines have better units. Very early attack round as those light cav are coming through. And Ozone's choosing to click up and will likely build a castle. Though where do you build the castle so it's not in range of the water and the Dromans that Lucho can very easily add, and he is indeed adding now. Lucho realizes the only chance for my opponent now is to maybe do some weird monk play. Monk, cheap halbs, and win a Treb war. But if I control all of the water, and I can just Droman down any of my opponent's buildings, this is game 1. Game 1-1. Going into elite skirm for Ozone. Getting clutching himself. Probably just a response to the crossbow and the pikeman that he sees. Stable even going down for our Dravidian player, though I don't think elephants were ever going to be on the cards. And now going for towers just so he can secure his home base. I guess he's just hoping that this is a fast imp from Lucho. and the score is just from water, and that Lucho doesn't have 100 villagers behind us. I guess he has 80 villagers, and he's rebuilt the fishing ships, which I think is really good, really solid. That's what's allowed him to get to Imp with a solid eco. The amount that Lucho's been able to afford is really nice. Where is the castle for Ozone? Is he trying to take a good fight and then drop the castle? Or maybe get enough villagers in the center island and then build the castle? Like, if you build the castle from home... I don't know. I don't know what you do here. You can't even get skirms forward because they just get sniped by the ships. Try to win Mangonel fights. Pray. We have Bracer chemistry coming in. These crossbows are going to be very well upgraded soon. Skirms could be well upgraded, but if they just go down immediately. I wouldn't be surprised if we see heated shot from Ozone as this game continues. Mangonel's just being sniped before they even get in range. It's the power of Bracer. And yeah, easy snipe. Monks trying to do their best. Skirms waiting for their upgrades. And there's the castle. And probably the only place that you can possibly place it without Dromans taking it down immediately. Yeah, I don't think Dromans can reach that, but I might be wrong. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Where's their Droman? Has 12 range. Maybe I'm wrong. Next castle going up. Skirms and archers, or crossbowmen. Spears still on stand ground. What do you do? Ozone's play looked good. It's just he was having trouble microing everything at once, I think. And the decision to go for siege instead of that second town center in the middle felt a little bit too ambitious. Like, he felt like he needed to get that early damage in against Lucho. But Lucho just had the better micro, especially against the Mangonel. Ozone playing on, producing skirms out of all of the ranges that he has left. It's soon to be only 2. Am I missing one? Okay, building a third one there. Villagers can't even get to the new ranges they want to put up because of all the water control. I think a few more Dromans here for Lucho could do the trick. I mean, I would say he's won the map, but it would really keep Ozone from expanding. A few skirms aren't going to trouble his siege, though they are kind of on the wrong side. This wood line is limiting his access to protect. These skirms just can't figure out how to path. Okay, there they go. Is the BBC actually going to take out the Treb? I mean, if he keeps the skirms here, I feel like most of the damage to the Treb has been from friendly fire of the BBC. Yeah, skirms go down anyways. Monks trying to heal these skirms. We have 3 left who have gotten 1 kill among themselves. More siege behind. Does have enough for another castle. Going to build another town center in the back, which will be fully in range of so many units. We even have redemption, and I think we saw block printing coming in earlier for Lucho. This is kind of crazy that we still have a game here. I'm not sure what Ozone sees in this. Maybe he's trying to replace ACCM in going for the longest game when you're clearly in a losing position. Maybe he feels like, oh, because I still have my home base, I have a chance. He's at 112 pop and dropping. I mean, skirms, I guess, are taking out some BBC. He has the faster firing skirms. And he has his own siege. We'll see how long that stays up. Does he feel like he has the composition advantage over Byzantines? because the scrims fire faster or something? I don't know. Like, Lucho could have a half of his eco and still be able to afford all these cheap Byzantine scrims. He can just throw them away as needed to snipe siege, snipe the bombard cannons. But he doesn't need to, because there's nothing here to defend. Ozone losing houses faster than he can build them. And we're just having villagers sent forward now. Okay. I thought it was going to be an outpost rush or something equally suspect. But no, it just seemed like it was a miscalculation of where to build the castle. You obviously aren't going to build a castle under 3 bombard cannons. Ozone is going to run out of resources on his home island before he calls the match. That's my guess. Drum is now taking out the buildings, more skirms, and even cataphracts being built here. Cataphracts aren't really upgraded. Feels like Dromans would be a better use of the gold. More farms being built here for Lucho in the back of his base, trying to use that space and those villagers there. Doesn't want to have to transport everyone. Where's the siege? Did we actually lose all our siege here? I mean, I know Lucho is just like taking his time, getting armor for the cataphracts. It feels like he could have just sniped all the siege with the skirms he has. But for whatever reason, he's not taking that fight. He just wants to get like elite cataphract instead. What is going on here? Why isn't this game over? I'm so confused. We're getting elite cataphract. Is this a meme game? Just keep making skirms. You're not pop capped. I guess he was pop capped. Okay, there's the GG. Once we see elite cataphract is in, we call it. What an interesting game. Let's look at the stats. So, military was fairly even. I think Ozone just was a little bit lacking in his production of fires at times. Sometimes that can lose you water on migration. And economy, I don't know what really made the difference. I mean, I guess this is when, yeah, 21 minutes, 22 minutes, when Lucho built the second town center, or the town center in the middle, I should say, and started going crazy. Ozone did get more relic gold with the center control, but, I mean, 1,000 additional gold versus so much extra res in every other category from having extra villagers working. Look at that 8 p.m. Ozone at 2:44. I don't know what that would have been. 25 minutes. Is that just moving scouts around? It's impressive, but it didn't win him those microfights. We're into game number 2 between Ozone and Lucho. Both players going to the very comfortable area of Land Madness. Both players usually just play Arabia against each other ad nauseum. What's up, Goyas? Welcome, welcome. And I would say they trade fairly evenly on Arabia between each other. But we have Ozone playing as the Franks, which at a time was the most popular civ on Land Madness. Magyars have kind of taken over that mantle, that position, but Franks are still a solid pick if you can try to get some Scorpions out with ballistics. On the other side, we have Lucho going for Hindustanis. So yeah, Magyars got banned out in, I think, by the random bans. So we get some more interesting civilizations. Magyars just kind of feel inevitable sometimes. you're playing feudal, you're like, okay, is he going to switch to a range? Is this just going to be so difficult to play? I'm kind of curious what the play is going to be for Lucho. If he's going to go scouts into archers, into camels. You can tell he's really antsy with this one. Moving the scout back and forth more than he needs to. Just trying to keep his hands working. And very fast uptime here. 18 plus loom. Ozone going to be one pop behind. That's the advantage of Hindustanis and saving a little bit of food on those villagers in early game. So yeah, this berry and this wood line in the back of Lucho's base is looking really nice. Obviously, you can't wall on the stone terrain, but you can have somewhat of a wall off and try to control those entrance points with additional walls next to the stone. Meanwhile, very forward berries. And actually, I'm just realizing this is a version of Land Madness that doesn't have the two berry patches. Just the one. And maybe there's some scripting that... Oh, wait. Okay, I was going to say maybe there's some scripting that really prevents those extra berry patches from spawning any closer to the players. Because occasionally you can have two berry patches, and with some civs like Franks and Portuguese that are both in the draft for these players, those extra berries can make the difference. One of those marginal gains that makes a difference. 2 lumber camps here for Ozone with a slightly slower uptime. We'll be able to drop those Frank farms with the free horse collar once he gets to feudal age. I imagine it's scouts opening for both players. Yeah, look at Lucho with this scout, just moving it back and forth. Okay, now he's not going to do it anymore. Barracks going up in front of the berries to try to protect that position. Also going up on a hill so that those Hindustani scouts that have the bonus attacking buildings will have a slightly harder time taking out that building. There we go. Stable going up with 2 villagers. Stable going up with 2 villagers. Pretty standard stuff so far. Neither player doing the small walls on their wood line yet. Relying... Did I? No, okay. I thought I missed something. Just relying on map control, spending all that wood into their buildings and upgrades and houses for now. Pretty standard stuff. No, Lucho actually stealing 2 sheep. Okay. And Ozone coming right back to take them back, it looks like. Does he see them? Oh, he's okay. He must have thought for... Wait, what? Did he not spot the sheep? No, he did. Okay. He must have been quick walling these villagers in. Sees the sheep, brings it back. Go to escort him with 2 scouts and a spearman. Wondering if the scouts are staying over there. But nope, they're coming back over to this side. Plenty of villagers here. Scout actually gets trapped there for a moment, so loses more HP than he probably wanted to.
Right.
And we have a spear there to protect as well. Very interesting house walls. Really not house walling. Just making a little tenement like he did earlier on Migration, but instead in the middle of this prairie. Scout thinking about going into the middle maybe to snipe a sheep. But just getting pushed away by these Frank scouts that have a little bit more HP at the moment due to the Frank bonus. So Lucho not taking any fights that he doesn't necessarily have a clear advantage for. Does have a spear forward though. And Ozone just staying at home for now. Making sure these forgers remain safe. This map looks so nice here for Lucho, the way he's mapped this out. I mean, these houses could be a little bit nicer around the berries and such. Ozone doing a good job making sure that there isn't any openings earlier, or later I should say. This tree's on 80 wood, so we'll have to come back to that in a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Ozone going forward now. Dodges the little pointy boy. Scouts back in formation, moving around. And we have Lucho hoovering as well. Seeing if he can have any opportunities to do damage. Ozone really hasn't seen Lucho's base yet. Just spotted the stable earlier. And is now going in deep. Obviously can't really be trapped on this map with the stone the way it is. KD11, I'm wondering if that's just spears. scouts have 0 kills on them. These scouts have 0 kills on them. Imagine it spears. I feel like Lucho is kind of just trading scout HP for no real benefit here. And really the question will come down to, will they stay on scouts? Or will they transition to an archery range and go for some archer play? These house positions are so interesting. It's almost like Ozone... Sorry. It seems like Ozone's playing his poles, and he's trying to maintain as much space here to build full works and farms around those full works. Going in for the snipe on the villager. Villager gets around. Scouts really only take 1 hit from the town center. I guess it keeps Ozone's on his toes if he's paying attention to his scouts at home, but these are both really solid Arabia players. Going in again for the villager. Not worth it at all. Villager's just going to go on a farm, I imagine, close to the town center. Yeah, Ozone's just rotating her through. She will be mostly safe for the time remaining. And yeah, maybe Lucho's thinking, you know what, I don't know. Neither player is really going to be relying on scouts too much in Castle Age. Maybe to snipe monks. And monks could be a play here for Ozone to deal with any camels. If we just have a camel versus knight kind of play with no range units included. Ozone going out to gold now does feel a tad bit early. But with 19 on farms, with Franks, we'll see. He's giving himself options, I guess. And Lucho getting foraging now. Ozone could afford it as well. He doesn't have it. Yeah, he doesn't have it yet. Lucho going towards that hill. Ozone's, yeah. Has nothing else to focus on right now. He's going to make sure his scouts don't take a bad fight. But he does move Ozone away before he sees that second stable coming in. He will see foraging on the scouts now. He might think, okay, Lucho might be investing a little bit more into these fights. And once Lucho has bloodlines, he will have the better scouts. Ozone taking the fight now. Maybe he's hoping for some downhill hits. And it looks like Ozone's just going to greed it up to Castle Age. I mean, it feels like most of his economy is safe with the exception of this gold here. Does have enough spearmen to keep the scouts away for a moment. Scouts for Ozone. Yeah, both players trying to make sure they see each other's scouts. And Ozone's kind of pulling the scouts away from Lucho. Is going to see the spears there. Might take a hit. Okay, 1 scout going down. But otherwise, even scout numbers, it's going to come down to pathing, really, to see if Lucho gets anything out of this. Lucho following, he must realize, okay, Ozone's just pulling me away. And he's actually not that far away from Castle Age himself. Ozone planning to go into more spears, it looks like. Getting armor for those spears first before any upgrades to the scouts. Lucho thought about it. He thought about trying to go for a Vil Snipe. Thinking, okay, these scouts have limited potential in Castle Age. Can go for Light Cav, which are slightly better than your average Light Cav. And I'm thinking Lucho's gonna look around these farms, see if there's one of those weak villagers on the outskirts. Keep Ozone on his toes, make sure his villagers back home for Lucho are perfectly happy. He can expand as he wants. He's sending all the spears forward now, actually. Leaving himself exposed, but he sees where all the scouts are from Ozone. It would be a surprise if Ozone had split up his scout numbers. That is an exposed villager right there. I think Lucho can kind of die for that villager. Realizes quick walls, and it is closed. Yeah, both these players are on top of it. These open maps are their comfort area. Ozone first one up. Taking the fight now, I guess. Thinking he'll have forging in a moment. Take the fight before my opponent's up. Before camels are on the field, and then I can't take a good fight. Is getting pikemen. So I think this fight favors Ozone ever so slightly. It's kind of a silly fight. Both players are like, yeah, fine, I'll switch off. I mean, I guess that actually benefits Lucho because you're thinning out the pikeman numbers as Lucho gets out his first camel. But while he was microing all that, he wasn't really dropping farms, so he's got quite a lot of wood banked up now. 2 town centers going up for Ozone. One in this area here, where his lumber camp cut out a path, or his lumberjacks cut out enough room for that lumber camp, or sorry, town center be placed. And scouts now being upgraded to light cav for Ozone. And no spears at home. It'll just be camels for a defense. Both players looking to do some damage. I think these light cav can take this fight here. Have definitely been spotted, I would say. As I'm paying attention to where they're moving around. Just a few pikemen in defense, but most of these villagers are safe. Wow. Taking that pikeman very, very quickly. First blood on the villagers. Villager goes down, trying to build this town center. Second villager going down, and light cav move back. Light cav and Knight just look like they're taking some map control in the middle. And very even game so far. So I would say moving into the late game, I would say Lucho does have the better units. So it is kind of up to Ozone to find some sort of advantage, build some sort of momentum with Franks here. Franks are kind of relying on just mass cavalry in the late game to raid everywhere. And the camels of the Hindustanis would make that very tricky. But at this point in the game, I feel like it is more down to the light cav, and the camels might find an opening, but really they're just defensive. They don't have that pierce armor to go in deep. Light cav coming in here for Ozone. Good reaction time by Lucho, having to pull a lot of units away. But these are some good finds. Ozone is, on the other hand, losing a lot of TC time. 4.5 minutes of idle TC time. He just doesn't have the food, even though he has the better farm, so to speak. He's just investing a lot more into military, which seems to be a recurring theme, what we saw in the first game. And there is an opening here on the wood line. The light cav could go in and decide to trade their bodies for some villager picks. But no, Lucho realizes light cav are my knights. I don't have any other options here. Some camels get pulled away, and others take a fight, which was probably unintended there for Lucho. Score lead swapping back and forth between these two players. Knights are underneath the town center. They have the first armor only. Might get another villager pick. Indeed, they do. This new villager also goes down. Knights might go down if Ozone's not paying attention to that, though. He does, and pulls them away in time. Knights and light cav pulling the camels out of position, which is on it, pulling his units back. It really feels like the pikemen keep chasing the camels until the camels are out of line of sight. They patrol back home. And it really comes down to who booms better. We have a range coming up here for Lucho. The first real interesting part of this game, I want to say. He's getting fletching. Is it going to be crossbow? Is it going to be cav archers? Feels very late for cav archers. You generally want them massed a bit more. Is it going to be skirms? Skirms seem like they'd be a surprise. Just don't have the pierce armor to do enough damage. Not seeing any commitment other than just going for a bracer for now, which will help with these castles, or sorry, not castles, town centers. Ozone with the 8-5 eco KD. But hoovering everywhere. I like these pikemen just patrolling the entrance. Oh, they are patrolling away. Okay, they're patrolling back. They're quite weak. If Lucho realizes that. Lucho spots another opportunity, though. Oh. Just getting clicked for no reason. Now going for the monk. And we have a pikeman and knight army coming in. Lucho's cav archer mast seems like it's going to be a little bit late. He's moving out towards the gold ahead, knowing the army won't be there. The camels can't really engage here. So this could be a lot of idle time here on the farms. I think Ozone just needs to keep these pikemen alive. That's what's preventing the camels from taking a good fight. And a lot of them have gone down to town centers. Cav Archer's doing some work as well. Keeping these farms idle is very important. I guess there's enough camels here to take the fight despite the pikemen. Lucho could decide just to keep microing around. Not the best fight here for Ozone. Clearly focused at home. Does have the second armor now for the knights, so can dive a little bit deeper. Lucho feeling very comfortable, though. Sending the villagers back to work very, very early. The pikemen are left to fend for themselves as the knights run away. And on the way out, Ozone might notice, oh, I didn't kill anything, and my opponent has a new town center up. My aggression is for naught. Meanwhile, we did get one relic secured. Monk gets sent out to try to take another one. Immediately gets sniped. And because the pikeman numbers are low, and we have the counter of the camels and the cav archers out, Lucho feels comfortable for the forward castle. You'd think the Frank player would have the forward castle first. That is not the case. Our Hindustani player looks like they're in control of this match now. Ozone taking the fight now. Thinking, you know what, I have decent upgrades on my cav. There's not a huge cavalry archer mass. Not a good fight. Opponent has really good center control now. The cav archers can just move back and forth very easily. This is the problem with Franks. I think Ozone's kind of stuck in terms of composition. Do we even have a thumb ring on these cav archers? Kind of felt like we did. I'll have to look at the accuracy. It feels like we do, but I didn't see it come in. No, we don't have thumb ring. Okay. It's just really good micro here for Lucho. On the other hand, Ozone does have good scouting, so he sees the extra golds he can go out to. Since this gold here, I guess he's still going after this middle gold anyways. But it really feels like he needs scorpions to deal with the cav archer mass. Ten and a half minutes of idle TC time for Lucho, or sorry, for Ozone. Obviously, he has a lot of town centers to gather that idle time in. Not necessarily something you want to be gathering in town centers, but yeah, these pikemen are just getting pulled into the castle range. Lucho feels like he's in full control. Might be a little bit limited in how much map control he has, but Ozone's just falling for it. Ozone wants a castle in response, and so knights are just going to be trading themselves for this castle positioning. Lucho's already up to the Imperial Age on the back of this cavalry archer mass. He could even, I mean, he sees the, oh, he doesn't see the castle going up. Now he sees it. And he's like, okay, that's too late. But I'll be up to Imp. That's kind of what I want to see. The Frank castle in a very defensive position. Isn't going to be affecting these new town center positions that Lucho's thinking about. And the score really shows Lucho's dominance here. Might be a little bit worried that Ozone might be up as well. Even this monk coming in deep to get the snipe. Thumb ring, big click now. We already have Bodkin, or sorry, not Bodkin, ballistics in. So the cav archers can try to snipe these knights as they run away. Targeting the weak knight? No, not quite. But are pulling the knights out of position a little bit. Ozone's still continuing to expand, hoping he has a better economy, but they are neck and neck with economy. It just feels like composition here is what's winning our Hindustani player the matchup. Very nice defensive castle, I'd say, protecting that farm economy that the Franks are going to rely on so much. But we have no counter to the biggest issue here, which are the cav archers. Maybe he's waiting for Imp to invest in some scorpions. Or he's just thinking, you know what, I can just make enough cav, that doesn't matter. Or it kind of feels like game one where we don't really have a game plan. Hope the cav archers run into castles. Just build those cheap Frank castles everywhere. Imp is in. Trev on the way, Bracer on the way, Chemistry not too far behind.
Okay.
I guess Ozone is lucky that Lucho doesn't see that town center. Otherwise, those villagers would be idle forever, and we now have Imp on the way for Ozone. So much further behind. These cavalry archers don't have a lot of opportunities to do damage on this left side, maybe more on this right side. And Lucho has built a outpost there. So he saw all the knights just idle. And castle over here in defense as well. So Ozone has a chance to do well in these Treb Wars. He doesn't have castles on hills, though. I mean, maybe that's on a hill. But yeah, second castle on the hill for Lucho. Feels like he has the better economy. He's collected only 1,000 more resources. Repairing the Frank castles is cheaper now in Imperial Age than it was in Castle Age. Just the way the works based off of the maximum cost of the building.
Okay.
Villagers ran out of stone somewhere and ran out of blood. Ended up at this stone mine that was not in the safe area. These outposts just right in your face. It's not theoretically, or not literally an outpost rush. Or what am I trying to say? It's not like an abuse of outposts to the point where it's outpost rushing. But it's very much like, hey dude, if I'm able to build an outpost here, I'm clearly in control of this game. Could have been playing Byzantines again with the satellite vision he gets. Heavy cav archers that are just about fully upgraded. No Trebs even coming out yet for Ozone because he can't afford it, along with Conscription, Plate Barding, Cavalier. I think he's just going to try to raid Lucho to death. Cav archers haven't been able to do that much, but keeping the numbers alive is really all that Lucho has to do at this point in the game. With this game state, Lucho has had the opportunity to expand. Doesn't have to build town centers himself, just needs to build mining camps to collect all those extra resources. Is going to be building new town centers in full view of the outposts that Lucho has set up. Lycav will see that, theoretically. Along their, it looks like they're being patrolled. Just a really long patrol route. Yeah, cav archers taking out villagers on the wood lines. We do have Halb coming in as well, so it looks like it's the traditional Halb. And we have Chattagny coming in for those hand cannons. So even if the cav archers aren't going to be able to do it, we're going to have camels. That's what I was saying. It really feels like Hindustanis have so many options in late game. And I don't think Ozone's build count is going to go any higher than his current 133. Or at least 135, you know, within that range. Ozone has... I was about to say he only has one food in the bank. He's spending it as soon as it comes in. I don't think he got Chivalry for the faster working stables. No, he doesn't have either of his unique techs. And he's not going to have many castles soon. Lycav raiding that town center. New castle being put up on another hill to take out those resources. Okay, now the Cavalier could pounce before Imperial Camo comes in. But the Cav archers just get moved out of the way. Camels come in, take the engagement. Hand cannons are still there to deal with the Halb. It feels like it's a decent fight here for Ozone until he runs into the castle fire. He does have the third armor, and he does have a nice military mass. But can he deal with the heavy Cav archer mass? Heavy cav archers are kind of fighting into the lowland. Trebs can get taken out. I mean, this is why Franks do so well at the low level, right? Because you just make cav, the occasional help, and you do okay. But yeah, KD shows that it's not going well for Lucho. 70 to 150. He's a 1 to 2 KD. Has still some control over this left side of the map. With villagers, isn't really true map control. Does rebuild a castle on the hill during that fight, so did buy himself a little bit of time. But you can really see Lucho is getting all the attacks, now even getting hoardings. Getting these 2 castles off the hill is going to be impossible. And as long as these long-range hand cannoneers have somewhere to run back to, I don't see Lucho losing this match. Oh man, these guys didn't even have iron casting. Neither the Halbs nor the Cavalier. Cavalier just being picked off before they're even in range of Cav archers. Ozone now splitting them up, or are they just on patrol? Okay, they're just on a patrol and didn't spot the Cav archers. Now getting Paladin. There's a hope. I mean, your opponent already has Imperial Camel, but I guess there's a hope. It really feels like Lucho is the new blood coming in. He sees what civs are doing well in the current meta, and Ozone's kind of sticking with the old best civs with the Franks. When Franks did well on Blade Madness back in the day, before we had this Cav Archer meta. But Franks always can build more castles, and that's exactly what Lucho's realizing, but of course he can just build another castle on another hill. No ballistics on these castles mean these villagers will potentially get away unharmed. Look at that. Handcart's all you need. Ozone's still pop capped. It's just a matter of, can he find gold to replace this Cavalier he's losing so quickly. Paladin's almost in. He's just gonna go full force ahead. Lucho's playing this smart, returning to his castles. Hand cannons might have been a little bit out of range there, but we have almost no Halbs on the field. At least in this part of the field. 20 total, but yeah, in this fight it feels like they're pretty limited. Cav archers just sitting on the hill, can run back to the castles, as have the hand cannoneers. Just pulling and separating Ozone's army into little masses that aren't going to accomplish too much. What's up with all this farming eco this far forward? I guess with the terrain and limited access in the back. That's what Lucho's gone for. Cav archers just sitting in between these 2 lumber camps. Paladin now being fully upgraded, getting Blast Furnace. But look at the KD. We have one more castle in the back here for Ozone. These light cav have gotten... Okay, 0 kills. 1 kill now. I thought it was just the same light cav mass that was just sitting on the right side. Lucho doesn't have any more gold in the... Okay, he's collecting some more here now. Once he built that castle. It is a very heavy gold comp, so maybe that's what Ozone's counting on. But even then, I feel like Hindustanis have a better late game. I guess not having Halb makes it a little bit difficult. But even with Skirm and Skirm Hussar, and there we get the GG. So that was 2 to Lucho. Oops. Very comfortable win there.